So let's talk about content development and your marketing strategy. You want to build a content strategy that drives traffic to your website. Don't worry about becoming YouTube or Facebook famous. The name of the game is conversion. In other words, sales. It isn't about how many subscribers you have and how many followers you have. That's important to some extent, but the best strategy for content development is making fantastic content that's watchable, that's viewable, that's readable. And so that's an idea that you should keep in mind always when you're trying to produce content. So that involves pre-production planning. There's a couple of ways to do scripts. You can do a full script, which keeps you on track, or you can do a keyword script, which is just bullet points of what you're going to cover. Creating content is about the research. So it's not something you just imagine and you start doing. Okay, you need to research the topic. You need to understand the topic. You need to know enough about the topic so you're actually giving information that is helpful. You know, the news programs, especially local affiliate news, you know, if it bleeds, it leads. So it's the car accidents and all of that, and murders and all of that. Then they go down to sex sells. That's the second most covered topic. So you know, anything that has sex in it. And then the third thing is animals in the content. Those are the top three things that most local affiliate news stations produce every day. And not too many people watch it anymore because it doesn't apply. It isn't worthwhile to most audiences. So you're better off figuring out helpful information to be helpful to your customers. The news stations don't care about that. They don't care to be helpful. They're just trying to get eyeballs so they can sell more advertising. What you're trying to do is be helpful. If you are helpful to folks with the video you're producing, they'll watch it and they'll keep on coming back to watch more. And they'll eventually call you up or email or text you to try and get you to help them with their housing, either sales or buying. So that's covers pre-production planning. It's best to plan what you're going to do, and then you go into production where you shoot and record everything. You create all the elements that will go in a final video, and guess what? Most videos need an article to go with them. It could be a long article or it could be a short article, but you'll probably need some kind of an article. If it's a longer article, you can break it up into smaller parts and use that in multiple pieces along with the multiple pieces of video that you are going to distribute on social media. There's this big controversy about horizontal versus vertical. Well, in today's world, unless you can shoot one scene horizontal and also be able to edit it into a vertical format, you're going to have to shoot both horizontal and vertical. Vertical is typical for TikTok and Facebook Reels and all of that. So you should do both. You get all your video, graphic illustrations, still photos, and audio, and then you take that into post-production for editing. Full-length video editing, use cuts only. Don't use a lot of transitions, fades, and all these different transitions between scenes or between edits. It's just distracting. If you use too many of them, it gets really unwatchable. So cuts only. It's simpler, it's faster, and then you can make all of that content into shorts, which becomes micro content in vertical formats and square formats. So build a content strategy that drives traffic to your website. Again, don't worry about becoming a YouTube or Facebook famous. Name in a game is to sell. Okay, so after you've got your video edited and finished, you'll want to post it on YouTube for the purpose of embedding on your real estate website. It's great to have it on YouTube, but the more traffic you drive to your website, the more chance you get viewers and users to interact with your content, including your listings, including your other marketing material, including your webinars, including more of your content, and eventually, hopefully, they will be contacting you through your website to become a client. Your real estate website should be the main destination for your content. All links from YouTube, social media should go back to that. Why? Because that's where you sell. You sell from your website. It's really difficult to sell from social media. It's better to get people on your website and get them interacting with your content and interacting with your email address to try and get you to have them as a client. So post YouTube video links on your listings. In mystatemls.com, we allow YouTube video links right from every listing. So you have to be a member of My State MLS to have that feature. Social media, I'm going to show more on the next slide. That content that you produce, that video, should go out to your audiences, to your personas in an email. You can do it as a single video post to that particular audience, or you can send out a newsletter with multiple videos and stories in it. Both methods work. If you're in the habit of sending out a regular newsletter once a week or once a month, is kind of late, but not often enough. But if you have a habit of sending out a newsletter once a week, you can put several videos in it. Direct mail as part of your marketing mix. Almost all real estate folks use direct mail, but I suggest using a piece of direct mail that is much larger than a postcard. I have used for years an 8.5 by 11 newspaper format or news magazine format. It's just a single 8.5 by 11, and it looks like a news magazine on the front and back. And so it has your stories on there. And if you put a QR code with each story, they can click on it and that will take them to your web page that has the video. So you don't have to put the entire story, you just put a blurb on there and a QR code. If they're interested in more, they click on the QR code and that takes them to see the video. And so it's a great way. Somehow these newsletter postcards is what I call them, ends up staying in people's, on their desk, in their junk drawer. And I've had people call 3 years later and go, "Hey, is this community still available for sale?" Because they wanted to save it, and they did, and they called sometime later, and so that's a possible way of people not throwing out the content because it's not selling content. It is actual news and information that's helpful. And this just adds a twist to that by putting QR codes on it so you can get them to start interacting with your website.